We're top of the league in the South African Premier Soccer League. We've scored the most goals in the division so far, and we've had the most points per game in the division so far. And we have the joint most points per game in the league so far. And at the start of the season, we're only predicted to finish in 15th place out of 16 teams in the entire league with an odd of 300-1. Hello guys, and welcome back to DarkHorse FM, and in this video I'm going to show you how I went on to edit a broken Football Manager 4-3-3 tactic and use it to actually dominate the South African Premier Soccer League. I was able to do this in the space of 2 seasons. This is our current season, by the way, and the previous season we went on to finish 8th in the league, which is perfect mid-table using this system. And you can see from the previous season that we were not actually in the league at all. By this point we were in the lower division, and then we went on to win the league in that division and then get promoted. So the system I'm currently using adopts a 4-3-3, somewhat cautious and balanced mentality style of play. I kind of switch between both mentalities depending on the team that I'm playing against, but this is the way the system is set up so far. This is the tweak that I went on to do from the broken tactic that I'm going to share with you much later in the video. And then I opted for my fullbacks to play as attack and on support duty. So I have 2 fullbacks. The Lebese on the left hand side is a left fullback, and he has a lot more crossing ability attached to him, so I went on to use him as a fullback on attack duty because he had the ability to actually cross the ball. You can look at Lebese's attributes here, and then you can see real quick the skin that I'm using, by the way, is the Musterman's 123 skin. Is very famous on Football Manager. It's quite a very good skin that I'm enjoying to use this year, and if you want it, I'm going to attach a link in the description so you can get that link and download the tactic for yourself. And then we can go on to see Lebese's ability here in crossing. He has crossing of 12 in this region here, and then decision making is 15. He has good decision making and then good marking, good positioning, so I trust him to actually get up and down the pitch. That's why I opted to use a fullback on attack duty for this role. Fullback on support duty is the other player that's playing on the right hand side, and then I opted for the standard 2 central defenders as opposed to the ball playing defender in the tactic. And then my goalkeeper is a super keeper on support duty. That's because he has the eccentricity to actually execute this role. Yeah, you must forgive me, I have a few players suspended here, but looking at my defensive midfield, I opted for a halfback this time. The broken tactic opts for a defensive midfielder on support duty, which I felt was a bit adventurous, and it did help us get some good results for more defensive solidity since we got into the division and were one of the weaker teams in the division. I opted for a halfback, and that's been working quite well for us so far. Mezzala on support and Mezzala on attack are the 2 central midfielders in this tactic. And then my player here, I'm going to actually call this a created player basically, but he doesn't have that many great attributes because we're in the South African League, and even if you're editing a team, you don't have that much money to spend. But he is the advanced playmaker on support duty, ideally the creative player in the team. He's playing on the left hand side. You don't need to worry too much about that if you don't have an advanced playmaker on support in that role. The broken tactic actually has a more comfortable role for you to go on to use in that tactic. And then Mbatha is playing as the winger on support duty on this other role, and then I have my advanced forward on attack. Looking at my team instruction, I didn't really opt for everything. In fact, I actually stripped down the tactic to the bare bones and then went on to build something that was suited to my team, paying reference to that broken Football Manager 4-3-3 tactic. And out of possession, we're going for a mid block with a higher defensive line and much more often trigger press. And then often I noticed that in the South African League, the teams tend to try to play you through the middle and try to play through balls, long through balls. So I knew that trapping my opposition outside, and oftentimes in game, it did help us to actually push the opposition to the wide areas and try and force them to cross the ball, and then we can try to win the ball back and stop those crosses. So trapping outside did work, but I don't normally have it on. I normally do this in game, so you can go on to tweak that in game. No need to prevent short goalkeeper distribution in this time because we are playing with a mid block, so the goalkeeper is allowed to actually play out from the back, and that kind of helps us try to press the opposition in the middle third. For in transition instructions, then the team has just been asked to play on the counter attack because we are not the best team in the league, but the moment we get possession of the ball, we're trying to hit the opposition on the break, and that has helped us very often in this game. So the only instruction that I have for in possession instruction is walk the ball into the box, because I noticed that my players are so wasteful. Often I don't include walk the ball into the box. I sometimes have it blank and then play it like that, and then I realize that sometimes we do get goals from crosses. My team will still cross the ball even if I have walk the ball into the box instruction selected. But I noticed that this sort of helps us keep the ball a little better when we're in the final third and try to create chances rather than just, wasting it. So what is the similarity between this and the broken 4-3-3 tactic that I wanted to share with you? So here it is. in the first slot, we can see the intensity is a lot higher, and my team is a lot familiar with the broken 4-3-3 tactic than the previous tactic that I'm currently using, regardless of how often I've used that tactic and ignored the broken 4-3-3. That is because the broken 4-3-3 is the primary tactic, so my team is always training using this system, and even though I'm not playing with this system all the time, my players are a lot familiar with it in case I need to actually jump on it. So you can see that my super keeper, I kind of kept it that way, super keeper on support, and then the central defenders, 2 central defenders on defend DT. You do have Lebese again and Abrahams as your wing backs on support DT. In the other tactic, you can remember I used fullbacks on attack and 1 on support DT. Defensive midfielder on support DT, like I mentioned, but this time the 2 Metzalas are both on attack DT. It's quite risky, I know, but it kind of works in the game really. And then we have here a winger on attack DT and an inside forward on attack. Ideally, at first, this player is also an inside forward on attack DT, but I kind of changed that and tweaked it a bit, and it worked miraculously well. So inside forward on attack and an attack on either side, and then you have your advanced forward on attack. And then when the team mentality generally for the broken tactic is attacking mentality, and then when the team is in possession, there's a slightly higher tempo, fairly wide attacking width, and then pass into space and play out of defense. The team is also instructed to run at the defense and be more expressive. Now for the in transition phase in this tactic, there is counter press and counter and distribute the ball quickly for the goalkeeper instruction, and the goalkeeper has also been instructed to distribute the ball to the fullbacks, to the centre backs as well. But this is not prevalent in the way I use the tactic. This is what the team has been encouraged to do, but in the tactic that I'm using, I don't always go on to check up all these instructions. I don't really see them as really necessary. Depending on how you're going to play, if you're going to play on an attacking mentality, that's towards the ending of the game and you want to actually absolutely slap the opposition and try to score a goal, you can opt for this system, but I noticed that in the long run, playing with counter press and counter turned on might just cause you a lot more problems. So I kind of ignore using this system all the time. I have to use it once in a while and then try to get those goals when I need those goals to come. And then out of possession instructions, high press has been selected here with the standard defensive line, and then the more often trigger press has been selected for your team's engagement, and then prevent short goalkeeper distribution. This time the team is playing with a high press, so he's encouraging that, or you encourage your players to try to win the ball back from the goalkeeper and stop him from prevent the goalkeeper from taking those short kicks to their centre backs or fullbacks. Get stuck in is also encouraged here, and I kid you not, even though I'm not using the get stuck in instruction in this tactic, my alternative 4-3-3, my team still tends to kick the opposition's players. I enjoy that, but I don't enjoy the yellow cards. My team also gets injured once in a while, but I do like that my players tend to leave a mark on the opposition because they just keep passing the ball among themselves. I'm like, give me the ball back. So that's the broken 4-3-3 system and how I tweaked it to dominate the South African Soccer Premier League in Football Manager 2023. I'm going to attach a link in the description, so in case you want to download this tactic, you can download it for yourself and then test it out and see how it works out for you. And I'll see you with more Football Manager tactic videos like this. I haven't been creating videos, that's because I've been on the road a lot, so I have spent a great deal of time away from Football Manager to also give me time to actually enjoy the game and kind of miss it, and then come back with a clear mind and try to enjoy the game a lot more. So that's why I'm back now with one more video. I'm going to be on the road again for a few more days, so it may be a while before the next video comes up, but enjoy this video. I'm going to attach a link to download that tactic for yourself, and then you can test it out and see how it works out for you. And by the way, if you have any suggestions for more videos for Football Manager content like this, you have any more questions about Football Manager, you can let me know in the comment section down below. I'm going to go on to review those comments and then try to see if I can build a video on that for you guys. I'll see you in the next video.